welcome to another wonderful, wonderful synchronicity message. Okay, so I just want to say, first of all, thank you for choosing you, right? Not a lot of us are doing that in this energy, right? So, anyone that is tapping into the truth of who they are, anyone that's reprogramming themselves, anyone that is walking in their fullest expression of self love, anyone that is taking the time to check in with themselves, anyone that's taking the time to understand themselves and understand themselves, anyone that's taking the time to be patient and graceful and merciful with themselves, as well as forgiving, loving, and kind to themselves. You are now tapping into the resonance of the Quasi era, right? The Quasi era is an era where you are authentically allowed to be your authentic self, because the universe has always been supporting you. You're just remembering, right? So we are on this process called ascension, but ascension is really the process of remembering, okay? So in the Quasi era, you're going to find not only are you remembering who you are, but you're going to find that not only are you sending out waves of huge vibrations of love and energy, it is also being returned to you in kind, pressed down and overflowing, okay? In the Quasi era, you're going to start to see internal validations begin to express themselves with external verifications, right? So it's no longer seeking outside of yourself for truth. You are the truth in which you seek, okay? Now, the interesting thing about this energy, however, is you are required to do the internal work, which means that you do need to go within and navigate from within, okay? So I want to say welcome, right? It's an era of resonance. And I even feel like the tone of how we're going to be doing things on this platform is changing. Just to let you guys know, I feel energetically when I come back from the cruise, we're going to have a different setup. Okay. I'm already being prompted that we're going to have to do things a little differently because the energy has shifted full fledged now. And a lot of you have been doing your work for a while now, a year or two, for some of you even longer. For some of you, this has really been an interesting change, to be sitting where you are now, when if you're looking back maybe from even 2020, 2021, like pre-COVID or even post-COVID, a lot of you are just starting to get your bearings and it's just starting to recognize who you are, right? This energy is requiring you to be your authentic self, but it's also requiring you to set the proper healthy boundaries that's needed in your relationships, right? This energy is requiring you to choose you. I mean, how amazing it is when you get to choose you. How amazing is it when you no longer have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. How amazing is that, right? How amazing it is when you're okay knowing that it is in your imperfections that you are most perfect, knowing that you are flawed perfectly, right? That all of the flaws that we think we have, all of the things that we've been taught to not like about ourselves, not embrace about ourselves. What if I told you that those are the mysteries and the keys that you need to really begin to discover who you are, not just on a physical level where you have labels like the boss, the mom, the dad, the manager, whatever it is, whatever labels you have in the external world. I'm talking about a space within you where there is just an isness. It just is, right? It just is. Your beingness just is. You don't have to look outside yourself to find it. You don't have to, go through tons of relationship, to get your heart broken. No, 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 no. You don't have to do that anymore. It just is, right? And, I said in the last video, like, healing is not something that's, especially when we're talking about mental and emotional healing, right? Mental and emotional healing, and even the physical body, that healing is always readily available. So healing is instantaneous. What takes a long time is the process that it takes for our mental and emotional, right, and our responses to show up in the external. But healing internally, no, that's immediately. Like when we do Reiki energy work and we begin to do energy healing work, that healing happens instantaneously, okay? This is not something that you got to go seeking outside of yourself. But even in Reiki, when you heal someone, my love, or and it's not even you are healing them, you're tapping into their energetic field, right? And when you tap into their energetic field, you're helping them to heal themselves. But if they don't believe in their own internal self healing, in all honesty, once they are no longer in your presence, where you're vibrating that and resonating that healing energy, they're gonna go right back, to the same ailment that they had before they came and see you. If they don't accept the healing that's already within themselves. Okay, it's all energy. It's all energy. So quasi era is the era of energy. This is the era of you being able not just to read what you can physically see with your eyes, but also read energetically what you cannot feel. You gotta be able to read the subtle energies in the atmosphere. Now that we stepped into the quasi era, that this is really how the energy is moving. It's not really so much about what people say or do or don't do anymore. It's really the energy or the resonance in which they are approaching you or any given situation with, okay? Your resonance is what's dominating the experiences that you're having now, okay? With that being said, all right? Um, hmm, hmm. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clear the ear, clear the tones, so this message and this transmission can come through clearly, coherently within love. We're going to open up our minds. We're going to open up our heart space. We're going to open up the space where our fire burns with passion, where we're able to take action. And we're going to allow all three of those energies to now project into our physical, earthly realm for us to have the experiences that we truly, on a deeper level, right? Once we're doing that core work, right? Really want to experience, whether that's love on a deeper level, experiencing that love with yourself first, whether that's abundance on a deeper level, understanding that abundance doesn't come from physical things, but abundance comes from within, okay? So we're going to sound these tones and we're going to tap in to the messages that's coming through the Council of 12, okay? Now, let me just say this. I'm going to channel the message and then we're just going to go ahead and use the cards as verification of what the message is saying, okay? First tone is going to represent the air energy, which is our thoughts and our thinking, our logical mind. Let's clear the tone for our mental space. Whew. Second tone is going to be for our water element. That represents your intuitive nature as well as your emotions. So let's go ahead and clear the tone so we can have clear, intuitive access as well as balanced emotions. Next, we're going to do the fire energy, which represents our action, our passion, okay? We're going to clear the tone for that to make sure that we're moving in coherence with our thinking, our emotions, line up with our action. Let's clear the tone for that. Okay, as we come upon the last tone that we're going to be sounding in this transmission, I need you to take a deep breath in and out. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to where the tightness is landing, okay? Last tone is going to be the earth tone. This is a tone of manifestation. This is a tone of the physical and the practical realm. This is the realm of doing. This is the realm of autopilot, okay? This is a realm where everything that you've thought about, felt, and took action upon is now showing up manifested. So let's go ahead and clear the air of your manifested realm, the earth realm, so you can now begin to manifest things with coherence based on your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. There's symbology in everything, even when you know not, okay? Me clearing the tones is to clear the static in the atmosphere because we are all energetic beings. And sometimes even your environment can hold static energy or negative charges, okay? Or stagnant charges, okay? Or very flat charges, okay? So sounding the tone clears the energy in your space, and it also anchors the space that we are in now, right? So with that being said, I want to talk to you about something that I've been picking up in my spirit, and it has to do with self-worthiness, okay? And I just want to say this before we continue. with this message. There is something amazing that's unfolding within the next 2 weeks, okay? There's something unfolding right now in the energy that if you're able to tap into this energy, you can already feel the resonance of something beautiful unfolding. There's something beautiful unfolding, not just externally around you, where you can see verification of what's of what's unfolding already internally, right? But there's some beautiful changes happening, and there's some beautiful transformations happening within this energy. The transformations that I feel that are happening is you're no longer apologizing about who you are. You're no longer apologizing about how you love. You're no longer apologizing about how you do things. You're no longer apologizing about why you think the way you think. You're no longer apologizing about why you see the world the way you do. You're no longer apologizing about being you. Okay? So there's a resonance in the atmosphere where there is no apology needed for you being you anymore. What's happening in this shift as you are no longer apologizing for any aspects of yourself, may it be a lighter aspect of yourself or a darker aspect of yourself, right? You're allowing yourself to walk into rooms and spaces, right? And allowing your true self to shine. You're no longer shrinking behind other people's opinions or other people's words. You're no longer shrinking and bowing down to the internal loop that was replaying in your mind about not being enough, not having enough. I can even say you're going as far as not even applying yourself to any labels, even on a political end or a social end or a religious end, right? You're just learning to be with yourself. You're learning to love yourself at the deepest level where you sit in the isness of your being, right? When you sit in the isness of your being, there is no trying to be somebody else. There is no trying to be jealous of somebody else, right? Because you understand that everybody is a reflection of you. All right. Every relationship that you've had, every heartbreak that you've had, every blissful experience that you've had. Okay, when you get to higher levels within the spiritual walk, you understand that all of those things were reflecting back aspects of yourself, maybe fragmented parts of yourself that you didn't know were broken, right? But you're now in an era where you get to take all of those broken and fragmented pieces of yourself and create a mosaic masterpiece. A mosaic masterpiece. No longer looking outside of yourself for the love in which you seek. No longer looking outside of yourself for the self-worth. No longer looking outside of yourself for success. No longer having to run your opinions by anyone. No longer having to get someone's and this is okay. Let me take a breath because this is huge. This is huge. You are no longer in a space where you're making excuses for being you. You are no longer in a space where you're making excuses for being you. You don't have to be that strong man every day that, have to walk around and pretend like life doesn't weigh on you, right? Like you have all of these decisions to make for your household and for the best of the kids and for the best of your wife and your marriage and your business, right? And it's heavy, but you're not supposed to pretend like it's heavy. You're not supposed to have an emotional turmoil. You're not supposed to have any mental turmoil, right? You're supposed to be strong because a man is strong, a man provides, and a man does, and a man protects, right? But what happens when that man doesn't feel like he's protected? Have you ever thought about that? What happens when that man or that little boy in you doesn't feel like he's protected? How can you neglect the little boy in you and protect everybody else but not protect yourself? See, and this is the feminine divine energy. It's not just about your gender. No. It's about you balancing both aspects of yourself from within, whether you're male or female. So there's no more making excuses for being you. If you that man that has to walk around and have all of these heaviness on your shoulders, where's your soft space? If you're that woman that carries the whole family, you're the matriarch, right? You're the one at the job that holds everything together. You're the friend in the relationship that's the glue to the circle, right? Where do you go when you don't feel so strong? Who do you have to speak to when you feel lonely and isolated? Can I tell you this is a beautiful place to be, because this is a place where you can be reintroduced to yourself? This is a place where you learn that you don't have to make an excuse for being you. You can say, I really don't have it to give to they, but to myself. This is where the part when the grown adult man gets to love on the little boy in him that says, I need a mental timeout. I need to pour some self-love into myself. Maybe I just need to have a day where I go golfing, or maybe I just need to have a day where I watch my sports and I'm not trying to fix anything or fix anyone or be anyone but me. Maybe you haven't taken a day just to sit on the couch. If you're a mom, maybe you need a day where you're not cooking dinner. Everybody can just make themselves a sandwich. If you're a mom, okay, the kids have off from school this week, right? Maybe instead of carpooling everybody else's kids this week, you just say you're not able to do it, and just be responsible for your child, your kids, and not have to pick everyone else's kids up. Because once you drop your kids off, guess what? Then you have a couple of extra hours left in your day, because you don't have to make 3 and 4 extra stops because you're the designated carpool. How about you're the friend that everybody comes to and you're just mentally drained, like you just don't have anything else mentally to give? It's okay for you to say, friend, I love you, but right now my social battery has run out. If it's not an emergency, friend, can we circle back and unpack tomorrow? Can we circle back and unpack in an hour? I just need an hour. Just an hour. When is the last time you gave yourself an hour? When is the last time you've told yourself thank you? When is the last time you've told yourself I love you? When is the last time you showed up for you? Yeah, it's no more making excuses or apologizing for who you are. You don't have to do that anymore. All you got to do is be. And in being, it's just an isness. You just fall into the isness because everything just is. Now, this is where you may be saying to me, come on, what do you mean everything just is? What do you mean, come on, everything just is? You know how we've been talking about the ripples in the pond for a couple of weeks now? As a trained professional sound audio engineer, you learn a few things about how vibration and sound works, which I can now connect to energy, right? If you get a pebble and you drop this pebble into the water, it's going to send waves out, right? This pebble in each one of these numbers represents your thoughts. Represents your thoughts, right? Each one of these numbers represents your thoughts. Now, as you drop the pedal out, I am enough. I no longer have to self-sabotage. I am loved. I am worthy of love. You see all of these? As you drop each one of these pebbles in the water, when that wave comes back into you, you're going to get back. I am loved. I am worthy. I am enough. I have enough. I have an abundant life. So a lot of you have been dropping so much pebbles with all of these beautiful things out into the atmosphere, and they're now returning to you pressed down and overfilled. And all you have to do is just be in the isness of that. Just be in the isness of it. And it works the opposite too. If you're sending out, I'm not enough, I'll never be accepted. Nobody really loves me. I got to watch every penny I spend, right? If this is what you're sending out, when this ripple comes back to you, you're going to have experiences of nobody loves me. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. Okay? So each one of these experiences, no matter where you turn your pebble, is going to reflect back to you that in which your attention dropped into that wave. The energy is set up for you right now where your intention is important. Your intention cannot be surfaced in this energy right now. Your intention at this point has to come from within, not from within the space of fear, the space of anxiety. No, your intention has to come from that stillness. A lot of people don't understand that even within the stillness, there's, in the silence, there's so much to be said in the silence. Do you know how much is said in silence? You know how much is said in silence? Do you know? A lot of people spend so much time, you got the TV on in the background, you got music on in the background, you're at work all day and they play the music in the background, you come home, you're washing dishes, you got TV on, you got the TV on, and you don't get to even enjoy the beauty of what you can hear in silence. There is nothing, there is no such thing as quietness when it comes to source. Source is always speaking. Or should I say there's no such thing as silence when it comes to source. It may be quietly whispered. So that's the correction, right? There's no such thing as silence when you're dealing with source energy. It may be a whisper. You may find it in the stillness and in the silence, but source is always speaking. Source is always speaking. Source is always trying to get you to see you. And it's not just the parts of you that you deemed imperfect and unworthy, because can I tell you what the mystery is when you get to a deeper level of understanding, my loves? When you get to a deeper level of understanding, you realize that it's not about race. It is not about religion. It's not even about culture. These are all things put here to help you experience the isness of source. You realize that you begin to understand that it's really about what's going on within you. You are the evolution in which you seek. You are the electric magnetic being of this universe. And I don't care if you call this universe a matrix, a simulation, hell, the fifth earth and the 16th dimension. None of that shit really matters when you really get to the true source, which is just beauty and love. And then you understand that your only job is to experience it and become a co-creator, which means you now have to be responsible for your thoughts, because your thoughts are these waves, right? Your thoughts is locked up in your intention in these waves. And when you watch your thoughts, you not have to pay attention to your emotions, because your emotions are what's fueling your thoughts. See, your emotion is the secret ingredient to manifestation. This is what the mystics and the sages of ancient days was trying to teach us. Everything is mental. It first has to come through a thought. Everything first has to be ignitioned with a thought. But what brings this thought into manifestation in physical form? Your thoughts got to be fueled by your emotions. And with your thoughts fueled by your emotions, it's going to produce an action. And that action is going to produce the physical experience. You're no longer in a space where you're making excuses or apologies for being you. It's okay if everybody don't get it. It's okay if everybody don't understand. It's okay. See, what a lot of people don't know is it's a long time coming for you to remember who you are. See, a lot of people don't remember when you were in those dark spaces, crying out, journaling, The uncomfortable spaces that some people don't want to go is the spaces that you were in. The spaces where you didn't know how things was going to work out, and all you literally could do was trust that it was going to be okay. Because in the natural eyes, you did not know how you were going to land at the end of this, but there was a knowing, an internal knowing. No matter how small it was, there was an internal knowing that you was kept, that you were going to be okay. And you've been dropping these pebbles of, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make it through this. My next move is my best move. I am loved. I am worthy. I am successful. So these are the ripples that's coming back to you now. Embrace them. No more making excuses. No more seeking external validation. See, because we understand in this quasi era, right? We understand that internal validation is always going to produce external verification. So you don't really need anybody to validate anything. The only validation you need is from within. Sit with that for a second. What pebbles have you been dropping in? How have you been loving on yourself? How have you been beating yourself up? That season is no more. It's been a journey. It's been a long journey. And some of you, like I said, you've been sitting in those uncomfortable spaces, and you finally broke through the cocoon. That crystal shell. Baby. Look at me now. The glow up is real. The glow up is real. See, because people didn't know what it was like when you was lying on that floor crying out because you didn't know how you was going to get past this heartbreak. Whether you're a man or a woman, you didn't know she broke your heart so bad. You didn't know how you was going to get to the other side. You didn't know if you was going to ever trust women again. You didn't know if you was ever going to trust yourself again. You didn't even know if love was real. From the woman's perspective, you gave everything to this relationship. You shrunk yourself. You nurtured. That heartbreak was so heavy, you couldn't even get out of bed. Nobody knows what those dark spaces look like. See, but they see the glow up, right? So you hear things like, oh my gosh, you're glowing. Oh my gosh, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Oh my gosh, you look so good. Oh my gosh, right? They see that, right? They see the glow up. And when somebody recognizes your glow up, you need to go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back, because that's an anchor for you to know that you've been doing that work. You've been doing that work. It wasn't easy, but you got to the other side of that. Self-love is not something that's validated externally. Self-love is validated internally. It will produce external verification, but that validation in which you seek, baby, that comes from inside. Unapologetically, no more making excuses or having to explain, baby, who you are. Walk in that room and shine. That pain didn't keep you down. That pain taught you some lessons. That pain gave you some wisdom. Those mistakes, now you can go back and take what you missed and apply them this time around. See, we're not over here self-sabotaging. We done that. Been there, done there. We done there. It ain't even done that. We've been there and we done there. We don't need to go back there no more. Ain't no more self-sabotaging. See, we understand over here now that it is in our perfection that we find ourselves. And our imperfections is where your perfection is. Your flaws. So your perfect self that you're looking for, you will find that in your imperfection. Because that's what makes you you. You're not perfectly flawed. You're flawed perfectly. Let that sit with you for a minute. The tone has changed. This is now a resonance. We're now operating a resonance, and these videos are for anyone that's vibrating on this energy. Synchronicity is real. So I don't know how much more titles we're going to have in these videos, because right now what we're vibrating on is resonance and synchronicity. And if you've been attracted or drawn to this message, my disclaimer used to be these messages are not for everyone. So now Spirit is like, no, we're not even in that energy anymore. There shouldn't be a disclaimer. There should be a claim. And the claim is these messages are for everyone that's vibrating and resonating from this frequency. When you have the self-love and appreciation of yourself and your cup overflows from within, man, do you know how rich that is for someone to walk into your presence? It's kind of like walking into a cold ass room, right? And as soon as you step in, the room gets warm. It's kind of like walking outside and it's raining, and as soon as you step outside, the sun comes out. And the rain is important too, don't get me wrong. But you've been through the rainy season. You've been through the uncomfortable spaces. Okay, my loves, let's get into this confirmation through these cards, okay? You're going to have to excuse me. I forgot my glasses upstairs. Okay, let's just go ahead and get into this confirmation. The tone and the resonance that we're vibrating here today is magic. Magic is card number 31. 31, 3 plus 1 equals 4. 4 vibrates on the realm of doing. Okay? Now, the beautiful thing of this is you don't have to do anything. You can just be. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to have to take action, right? But first tone was ear, your thoughts. That's where the action is first, your thoughts. Next tone, your emotions. And then the next tone, your actions. So before you can even take action, you really should get the tone correct in your thoughts. And then your emotions. And then you take action. Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment to more. Actually, give me 1 second, y'all. I need my glasses. Hold on. I'm so sorry, my loves. Okay, let's grab a pen here. Do not like not being prepared. This is something that I usually keep here. Okay, so let's try this again, okay? Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this movement, to move forward with possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. This is everything that I just said. We just talked about the ripples. Let me read this again. Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move forward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and as profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. That's that isness. You are magical. Did you know that? Did you know that you're magical? Did you know that you're magical? I don't know if you knew you're magical. I didn't know. You may not have remembered that you were magical. But this is a season of remembrance. And if you're tapping into this video, synchronicity is online. This is just me reminding you that you're magic. Okay, I can't make this up. Mysticism. Oh my gosh. I cannot make this up. The looping tone is mysticism. You want to know what the mysticism part is? Going within. You want to know where you find the mysteries out at? Going within. This is not a season anymore where you can afford not to meditate. And I'm not necessarily talking about sitting down and, doing breath work. I'm talking about turning off the TV. Turning off the radio. Paying attention to what the wind feels like as you're walking outside and it blows and touches your cheek. Mysticism has to do with paying attention to what you cannot see, taste. Anything to do with your five senses, mysticism is asking you to expand past your five senses. Mysticism requires you to see that there's mystery and magic all over. The things that we call magic is really your isness, your beingness. They're really not magical. They're really part of who you are. They're really part of who you are. Look at this. Growth. Become the mystic that already dwells within you. And that simply means just discover you. Lupin energy is growth. It's time for growth. And the growth is happening within your quiet places within you. It is not happening externally of you. Your growth is happening internally. Pay attention to when your body tenses up when you walk into a room. Pay attention to how your body relaxes as you breathe and let your shoulders down. When is the last time you've let your shoulders down? I told you, I've been doing body work for a year, and I'm finally getting to the parts where places that were locked, it's taken me a year to unlock some of these places. And the year it's not because I haven't been doing the breath work and I haven't been moving, but a lot of that is clearing stuff out mentally, clearing stuff out emotionally, and then infusing it with your action. Let your intention through your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions produce your next experience. Does your thoughts align with your emotions and your actions? See, because if your thoughts is saying, I am worthy, and your emotions are saying, I am not, because everybody that I love leaves me, then your action is going to gravitate towards that I am not. Because remember, your emotions are fueling your thoughts. So although your thoughts are saying, the opposite, that you're worthy, your emotions is fueling that thoughts with, no, you're wrong. You are not worthy. Don't you remember when he broke your heart and she broke your heart? And you go right back into that past energy. And now that past energy is fueling your thoughts, right? So how do you think your actions are going to proceed? Allow yourself to become that in which you seek. If you're seeking unconditional love, drop that pebble of unconditional love in that wave. So when it bounces back out to you, whoever is coming into your experience, whether it's friendship, a job opportunity, it doesn't matter. But you're going to ripple back that love. And recognize love outside of just sex and, in conditional aspect. Recognize love for really what it is. The truth about love is love just is. It doesn't need to explain itself. Love is not going to come in and break you down to make you feel like shit. Now, you may be put in some uncomfortable spaces to expand and evolve, but never to break you and leave you broken and down and battered and not be able to get back up again. No. Love is about evolution and growth. Everything is created in love. Even the painful things that you may think you can't get past. Once you go within and you heal, you begin to see why you may have needed to go through that experience, because nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. You don't have to apologize for who you are anymore. You don't have to explain your pain anymore. Your pain don't have to be the narrative that you lead with in conversations anymore. Lupin energy is growth and mysticism. Okay, this is how it's unfolding. It's unfolding with separation and longing. And a lot of you have been in a season of separation. A lot of you probably going through a season of separation, whether it's separating from a loved one or someone that you hold dear, whether it's separation from a thought, a belief system, an old emotion, whether it's separated from a job. But you've been longing for something beautiful, something more, something real. Not surface shit, like real shit. You've been longing for that external verification because you've been trying to get to a place where you're validating yourself from within. See, that's what that separation is for. So you separate it so you can learn to validate and love and breathe, right? And allow yourself to get to know yourself. But there's still a longing for that verification or for that reflection of you to come back in and verify. Not validate, but verify. Right? So this is playing out. This magic and this mysticism that you need to come into, this looping energy and the tone, it is playing out in relationships. And even the relationship that you have with yourself, it could be playing out in a separation, even if it's separation of your thoughts. For some of you, this is a physical separation from someone or something. For some of you, separation from your habits, old thought patterns that no longer fit. Yep, I can't make this up. Reflections and projections. And you know, sometimes when we get rejected, we don't understand that you can't miss anything that's for you. So rejection sometimes can be for your protection. Projection can be sometimes for your reflection. There's always a way that you can take anything that comes towards you and recognize where you fit in it, including your pain, including your heartbreak, including your lonely spaces. As you separate from the things that no longer serve you, or as you're being separated, and this separation can pull you out of your comfort zone. This could be very uncomfortable for some of you. A lot of alone time. A lot of time to sit in your uncomfortableness. A lot of time to sit in your shit. A lot of time to reflect and play back what was said, what wasn't said, maybe where you could have said something, maybe where you didn't say something, maybe where you did say something we should. Like, all of that doesn't matter. Can I tell you that? All of that doesn't matter. Why? Because you've gotten to a place where you no longer need to explain who you are to anybody. Celebrate yourself. Abundance is not something that comes externally. Abundance externally is a reflection of your abundance internally. This is playing out and asking you to isolate and separate yourself from anything that doesn't reflect this abundance. What have you committed yourself to that's not really matching your resonance at this point? Where do you need to pivot? Where do you need to pivot? What do you need to change? What seed had you planted? Because people don't see that. People don't see the seeds that you planted. People don't see the seeds that you planted. Whether it's maybe the shadow work, whether it's maybe paying attention to the bad habits, whether it's maybe dealing with situations that made you feel uncomfortable, or putting yourself in situations that made you feel uncomfortable, but it's good for your growth. Nobody knows the seeds that you've planted but you. Right? Nobody knows that but you. All right, so let's see how you're supposed to navigate this, right? Because navigation really is about you being honest with yourself, right? And truth, the vibration of truth is always going to recognize itself, right? So let me tell you how this works. If I'm saying to you that you need no one outside of yourself, because internal validation is going to produce external verification, and that's your truth and that's my truth, guess what? Our experience is going to pull us experiences that's going to verify that truth. Now watch this. If your truth is you can't trust anybody, people ain't no good, then your truth, along with the other people who co-signs on your truth, is going to continue to have experiences where you can't trust people. It don't really work for the good, y'all. Energy don't care about good and bad. Energy just flows in the direction that you give attention to. Okay? The navigation part is breakthrough and epiphany, your aha moments. Pay attention to your aha moments. Not everybody is going to get you. Not everybody's going to appreciate you. Not everybody was taught about love. Not everybody appreciates love. A lot of you are going through divine intervention. What you may think a detour is really putting you along your path of alignment. There is no such thing as a detour on your spiritual walk. It's all experiences. And everything happens exactly when it's supposed to. Because when you realize that it's happening when it's supposed to, is when you begin to realize that you're in control. You have more control than you think. A lot of times we think things are slowing down. And I told you in the last video, the healing process happens immediately. It just takes its time for it to catch up, whether it's in your emotions, your thoughts, or in the physical place. In Reiki, the healing happens immediately. When you're using tuning forks, that energy clears immediately once we get into the proper resonance. Divine intervention. There's no detours here. What may feel like a detour is putting you back into alignment. No detours. The detour that you thought was putting you back in. And this is what you need to pay attention to. See? Because some people will read this energy as other people spying on you. I don't see that. I see this is you needing to look at yourself truthfully. Because this detour is giving you that. This detour is having you to look at yourself. Now, not to say that some people's not spying on you because your glow up is real, baby. Okay. So some people could be looking at you wanting to know, well, how the hell did you get over that? Why are you smiling about it? Won't you? What, wait a minute. Didn't I just see you over here crying? Wait a minute. Didn't you just call and ask me to borrow $300 because you couldn't pay your rent? Well, wait a minute. You know, all of these things. Wait a minute. Didn't your husband leave you? Wait a minute. Didn't your wife leave you with the kids? Wait a minute. See, a lot of people are spying and watching at you because they can't believe the glow up. What may look like a burning house to them or burning tree to them was really just an initiation process, right? That detour that they thought was a detour was divine intervention because you may have been out of alignment and you needed to come back on. So whatever that detour may have been, it's just putting you back into alignment for your breakthrough. Breakthrough is coming from within. Nobody can give you a breakthrough, honey. You gotta no, baby. Mm. This is where the breakthrough came in. The breakthrough came in because you had to sit with yourself. Shadow side, dark night of the soul, the moon, your emotions. You had to sit with yourself. You had to sit with yourself. Hmm. Yeah, that's not always easy, right? It's not always easy to look in the mirror at yourself. Look at this. Sometimes when you look in the mirror at yourself, you don't always like what you see, right? But you did it. Congratulations, you did the work. It may not have all been pretty, but you did the work. It may not have been all happy, happy, joy, joy in every moment, but you did the work. So that's why you can stand and no longer apologize or make excuses for who you are when you walk into spaces. This is why they can look at you and they can see the glow up. This is why they can walk into a room and feel your presence, right? Because you did the work. You did the work. Embrace that. Embrace that. We are no longer walking into rooms apologizing for who we are. No, there's levels to this. And welcome to the level of isness. Welcome to the level of being. Welcome to the level of realizing that you don't have to force anything into existence. All you have to do is recognize that it is and allow that experience to unfold. Recognizing your true sovereignty. You don't need to look outside of yourself or anybody else for your true sovereignty, right? You don't, I mean, listen, listen to yourself. When is the last time you listened to yourself? Don't it feel good when you're listening to yourself? Don't it feel good when you can trust yourself? Don't it feel good when the external experiences start verifying what you internally already validated? Right? Don't that feel good? Mm. All right, my loves, we're about to close this transmission. No more making excuses or apologies for who we are. All right? I love you, my gurus. You are your guru, not me. You are your own guru. All right, we're going to sound the tone, close out this transmission. All right. So here's what you need to do. You need to go on and be kind to yourself because you absolutely should. No question about it. And then what you can do once you've done that is go ahead and be kind to somebody else, not because they deserve it. No, 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 no. But because you can. Because happiness is contagious, joy is contagious. Let me tell you something else that's contagious. Knowing who you are, flaws and all, knowing that it is in your imperfections that you are perfect, knowing that you're flawed perfectly, right? And you extend that kindness to someone else, man, that shit is contagious. Why not? Right? Okay, my loves. Okay, so y'all know I'm on vacation. Okay, I signed up so I can have access on the cruise to tap in. I'm hoping that works, y'all, because I did not pre-record any videos. Okay, once I was I was able to set it up with the phone company where I can have access on the ship. I really did not pre-record any videos. Okay, the time just did not allow me to do that. Okay, I miss you guys much, so hopefully I'll be get to doing some live there. I'm gonna jump on here so I can give you guys a live update tomorrow before I head on out on this vacation. Okay. On that note, my loves, I love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see my wonderful gurus in y'all next transmission. Have a wonderful evening.